Looking for some new podcasts to listen to? Well, Rat Salad Review Network has plenty of shows to choose from. Like Rat Salad Review, where they discuss the latest rock and metal news, as well as interviews and albums. Album versus Album, the King Diamond Podcast, with Wayne Noon, Greg Noggle, and sometimes this guy.
Smack 'em a gob!
Ralph Viera is also on our network with the Viera Vault. There's also Old Man Metal's Musings, where he discusses heavy metal and beer. Music is Life with Lou Mavs. The Right Opinion for those who love politics. A South Park podcast called Suck My Balls. The Infinite Fringe, a watch-along wrestling show called Beyond Bushido. Ex-Stradivarius guitarist, the Timo Tolkki podcast. And the Great Harry Barnett with I Don't Even Like Podcast and the Laughcast. So check out ratsaladreview.com or search Rat Salad Review on YouTube, Podbean, iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, and more. This broadcast belongs to them. And
who's that?
Well, not the band, them.
Oh, them.
We wouldn't.
The invisible guests.
We wouldn't dedicate anything to that band, them. Jeez. But we will. Yeah, we will dedicate them to King Diamond. And today's album is them.
Yes, sir.
And speaking of them, we have someone from the band.
It's still got the
who's that?
With the Stop the Madness logo.
First pressing.
Look at that. First
That's
pressing.
a fan. That's a fan. First pressing.
How do you know it's the first pressing?
It was because I got it when it came out. I was like one of the first. I was like the first or second person at the store when they opened up when they sold it.
Well, actually, Greg, I got that from you. Is that the first pressing?
Yeah, and it's got that Stop the Madness thing on the back of it too. That's another way you know it's first pressing.
What was it have?
If you look on the back, it says "Stop the Madness." It's Road Racers Campaign Against Drugs, or
yeah.
Hold it up again. Who you got that signed by?
Oh, this.
Yeah.
This is signed by Hal Patino.
Hey, Troy. Thanks for the good time and never forget. Wish you all whatever. He wrote it in the King Diamond thing, so you can't read it. But cool anyway.
Wish you all the best, Hal Patino.
Okay. Nice.
Hal Patino. Hal Patino right there.
Hal Patino, who we tried to get on the show, but he's just too busy.
He's very busy.
We'll try again. All right. Well, welcome, Troy. I got your album up there.
Which one? I don't have any albums.
Manor of the Seven Gables.
Oh, that one up there.
That one up there. And then your little EP that you have out.
Back in the Garden Where Death Sleeps.
Yep.
Cool.
Go up and buy it. All right. So
you'll have to wait for Encore.
Yeah, we'll have to wait.
Yep.
All right. Well, this is King Diamond's third album, entitled Them. There are a few lineup changes on this album. Michael Denner's gone, and he's replaced by Michael Moon in between Abigail and this album. And then
What Pete Blakk was saying though is he was more just a touring guitarist.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, he wasn't really a replacement.
Or full replacement, exactly.
Yeah.
But like you just said, replacing Michael Moon is Pete Blakk, who will be on this show throughout the whole time we're doing them, Conspiracy, and the Eye. So you'll see his interview come up here and there. And also, we have Hal Patino on bass, who took over for Timmy Hansen. And I'm not sure when Timmy Hansen left, because I kind of forgot to look that up. But was he playing during the tours? You guys remember?
Patino was on the Them tour.
Yeah, no,
But I'm saying before that.
Oh, before that?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
no, I don't think he played the Abigail tour, but I'm not sure.
Don't know. All right. Should look that up. We'll
Don't
find out.
forget Mickey D's on this too.
I was going to get to that. Wait, he was on the last two albums. No. Of course he's on there.
You damn straight.
Yeah.
One of the main reasons why it is so good is Mickey
true.
D.
That's true. You just screwed up the flow of my intro.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let's talk about the other guys.
Well, we talk about them in the other shows.
Oh, okay.
Oh, boy. This is starting off great. Thanks, Troy. Welcome back. This is why I kicked you off the first time.
That's right. Vowed for me never to return.
Anyway.
Okay, Timmy Hansen did do the full Abigail tour.
Oh, he did? Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
He was replaced by Hal when they went in to start doing the Them album.
Nice. All right, cool. Does it say why he left?
No,
No.
it does not. But
Trying to
I'm
get
pretty sure Pete mentioned it in his interview.
Oh,
Or
maybe.
Michael. Somebody did.
Yeah.
I just can't remember why now, because we've talked to so many different people from different eras of the band.
Yeah. Troy got really white.
Oh. That might be racist. You better watch it.
I'm sorry. You're back to normal color now.
Oh, I was going to say, Troy's getting weaker. His color's draining.
Right?
All right, copycat. Let's go.
Whoa.
That's rough, man.
It is rough. You're not a copycat. I'm only kidding. All right. So anyway, this is a great album, and the only thing I'm really down on this album about is the production. Anybody agree with me on that one?
I agree.
Yeah, it is very thin.
Very thin, very trebly. There's like not much bass in it at all. And yeah, that's the only thing that really bothers me about this album.
Fortunately, Hal's playing is so strong, you can still pick out the bass parts, but yeah, it doesn't sound right, yeah.
Yeah, especially coming from Abigail. I mean, that was such a strong sounding album. This is very thin. And even the next album, Conspiracy, got a little bit better. So, but other than that, great album. So the album starts off with "Out from the Asylum," and in the beginning of this, it's Grandma comes back from some vacation she was on, and they notice she's in a wheelchair, and you hear all the demons and talking about seeing her coming up in a wheelchair and pretending, that she's got something wrong with her or whatever. Yeah, and they also say she's pretending as always, but she does make a good cup of tea. Can you do that voice, Troy?
No, I can't. Because that'd be called a copycat.
And then you got King's mother tells Missy and King to be good to Grandma, and King opens the door, and then it kicks off the first song, "Welcome Home."
Yes.
Yep.
And I will also say I like that little music box as part of that intro, but it gets a little old by the time you get to the end of the record.
It's cool though. It sets off the album,
No, it doesn't. It's great as an opener. I just that's one of the things in a band of excess I wish they used a little more conservatively. because it's awesome as the opener, but that's one of my only problems with the record is I think he uses that particular effect a little too much.
You think so? I don't remember hearing anywhere else. Maybe one other spot.
It's in 2 more spots.
All right, we'll get to it.
Yeah.
All right, so Welcome Home. That song is about King helping his grandmother out of the wheelchair. Shows her around the house. Takes her up to her room up in the attic. There's no bed in the attic because that's what she requested. She just wants a rocking chair and a teapot that Missy found. As King takes Grandma to Missy and his mother, he notices Grandma hasn't said a word. King asks Grandma how her vacation went, and she mentions she had them by her side. King questions, who are they? And she snaps at King and says, never mind, you dirty little brat. She then wants to go back inside because she can sense they are in the house and can feel their eyes. The opening drum part of this song is just as recognizable, I think, as Judas Priest Painkiller.
Oh, easily.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I like it better than the Painkiller intro.
You think? Yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
It's cool. It's just like a quick little, and then it goes into that.
There's a lot of
there's
a lot of skill in that.
A lot of skill in that.
Oh yeah.
And throughout that whole song, I mean, Mickey D, really outshined his playing on this album. I think this is the best he's ever played. You know.
Yeah, I think this album and the next album are the best performances all these guys have put in. Really, they're 2 amazing records. I mean, you know, I love Fatal Portrait. That's a great album, and then he really furthered what he was doing with Abigail. But this really is like where King Diamond becomes a star. I feel like this is where everything fit together perfectly.
Yep. You agree, Troy?
Yeah, definitely. Especially if you saw the live show, it was just phenomenal.
That's what I was gonna bring up, Troy. That must have been awesome because you know, love Michael Denner, great guitar player, but the chemistry that Pete and Andy have and the way they trade off must have been awesome to watch live.
I agree. Yeah, I agree. I mean, it just I saw them live. It was incredible.
Yeah. He had the whole setup of the house and everything.
Oh my God, the house was just the best. The best. Literally.
That's awesome.
All right.
I bet you they still have that house somewhere.
Probably sitting in a storage space somewhere.
You know, he's got this tour coming up, and then you have like his new album coming out sometime in 2020. But then yet, Merciful Fate is getting back together with a few songs. I'd like to see how this is all going to really pan out. I'm very, very curious. I'm sitting there with a bag of popcorn. I'm a fan. I'm a fan of both bands, but I just don't see how any of that's all feasible because of the amount of time they have to put together to get a record out and then a tour. And I was really counting on King announcing a Them tour.
Yeah.
You know, like a tour for the album Them, and you know, cash in, boom. You know, just cash in, but.
I'm kind of surprised he didn't, but yeah.
That would have made a lot of money. That would have made more money than the Abigail tour, in my opinion. They would have had a whole new set, just play the whole album. Forget about it. People would be nuts. I would buy anything. As a fan, I would buy anything that they had on that tour. For you know, as far as merchandise, like merchandise.
Oh yeah. I think by the numbers, it's still his best-selling album ever.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, in the song Welcome Home, there's a lot of weird changes in drum patterns, like as we talked about before. It's a really fun song to play, because obviously I play drums. I love playing that on drums. A very catchy song. It's one of King's best vocal performances, I think, especially of an intro song.
Yeah.
He does a lot of his different styles on this song with his vocals, I think. Great guitar work by Pete Blakk and Andy, as well as Hal Patino on his bass, hearing him for the first time. And, just a great opening to the album. It sets the tone for the rest of the album. It's just awesome song.
No doubt. My favorite song.
Yeah,
Yeah, mine
one
too.
of my favorite.
One of them, yeah. Mansion in Darkness, I think, is my favorite song off of Abigail.
Yep.
Oh, I was just talking about them, but yeah.
But
Mansion
off
and
of them, I'm getting confused.
title
When we say-
track.
When we say, when we talk about this album, Welcome Home is by far my favorite song.
Yeah.
And then The Invisible Guest. Oh, you didn't get to that yet.
We didn't get to that, yeah. You guys want to talk more about Welcome Home?
Sure.
Go ahead. That's what we're doing.
What's very interesting is this whole concept. I've always been fascinated, obviously, by this whole entire concept, and it's really great, like a great spooky story.
Yeah.
I've always thought that this album, especially with when you see the video, Welcome Home video, the official video, it could have been a movie. It could have been a horror movie.
Yeah.
It's never, a screenplay was never transcribed for this story. But that Welcome Home, it's just very interesting because it's probably one of his most popular songs ever. Mm-hmm. The title of the song is really, Grandma Welcome Home. It's not really emphasized. Everybody knows the song as Grandma. Grandma, right?
Yeah.
Right.
They know it as that. Like you just say Welcome Home. If you say Welcome Home, some people might not really understand they might not know that. Then you just say Grandma. You throw up the horns,
and they know.
That's it. They know what you're talking about.
Well, and Kevin Smith even used it in Clerks too. That's the song Jay and Silent Bob play on the boombox to scare the Mormon kid.
Yep.
And Jay jumps through the drive-through window. Grandma!
Yeah, that's hysterical. I remember that. That was featured in that movie. That's right.
Yeah, it was great.
Good stuff. But as far as anything else, he starts off the whole entire story, just basically all the major characters are pretty much mentioned in this song. Mm-hmm. It's a good overview song of what is gonna, what's in store for the listeners and reader or viewer. But great, one of the best songs. So that's all I really have to say about that.
How about you, Greg?
It's a great song. I really can't add anything to that. I already pretty much talked about what I love about it.
One other thing too, there's the bridge in that song. Missy and Mother, They're Dying to Meet You.
Yes.
One of the most epic bridges in any heavy metal song ever created.
Yeah.
Even to this day, I've never seen him been able to replicate it live. King Diamond. Just because because you got multiple voices going on, multiple harmonies in that part. It's epic. And it's just one of those things. Once you got it down on the recording, on tape, because that was tape back then. That was it. They weren't replicating that anymore.
Yeah.
But it's still, it's pretty close. King doesn't really hit the highs, but it's still awesome.
Guys, how old is he? He's 60-something years old, right?
Yeah,
he's 60. 62.
He's 62, 63.
Yeah.
But epic song. Everything about it is epic. So.
Yeah, it's really kind of sums up everything about him in one song perfectly. And it's catchy as hell, too.
Yep. That it is. All right. The Invisible Guests. I love the intro to this song. But anyway,
Can you do that again?
No. That
was pretty good.
It was, right? Okay. The story for this song, The Invisible Guests, King wakes up from his sleep because he hears insane laughing voices coming from his grandma's room up in the attic. He looks through the keyhole and sees Grandma all alone, talking to no one. but he sees cups rising in the air and then emptied all over the floor. The door opens and Grandma invites him in to sit in her chair. She tells him he will forget what he saw, but she will tell him a secret about their house called Amon. And then he has to go to sleep. Another great song. I really like the opening lead guitars, as you just saw. I did my performance. Again, Mickey D, awesome drum work. I mean, he's done awesome drum work through this whole album. So you're gonna hear me say that through every song, basically. And I love that stop thing that he does. I can't even describe it. He does like a stop thing with the hi-hats, and then he hits the snare. You know that part in the song. Just catchy chorus too. You know,
he has a lot of flair. He has a lot of flair to his playing.
Yeah.
I took a lot from him. Listen, especially when they did the live Abigail album, and in the middle of the album he has that drum solo. I listened to that thing over and over again, and I practiced to that thing, and I took a lot of my own playing from Mickey. I can't play like that anymore, though. Now I suck. But when I practice every day, I could do that whole solo. So Mickey is my hero. But
cool.
Back to the Invisible Guests. Another great song.
Oh, yeah. I love how, they just have so many time changes in here with the guitars. It's almost like they occur at the drop of a hat. It's a very exciting song in that respect. Yeah. But they're so fluent with the riffing, and they're playing with each other, Andy and Pete. It just flows perfectly together.
Mm-hmm. Yep. How about you, Troy?
Well, this is another song that's just... I mean, the first three songs are just phenomenal. I mean,
yeah, they are.
This one is really great too. There's a lot of different voices that King, he uses his various voices and to relay the mood of what's going on. And conceptually, it's pretty. It's right there. It's dead on. It's dead on where horror meets metal. I mean, I love it. I just love the whole thing. Great, fantastic song. It's a song that's a lot of fun to sing too. I can tell you that. I really liked singing this one in my time when I sung this song and others. It was one of my favorites. Good song.
Go ahead, give us a little piece. I did the guitar intro. Your turn.
My turn?
Your turn, yeah.
No. Yeah?
me. He can't do it on command. Look, now I got all shy.
You'd be surprised what I could do on command.
I know.
You want me to blow out this mic? You wanted to...
Not my mic.
Well, that's true.
I got him to do Grandma that one time, and his daughter came running up the stairs. That was funny.
That's right. I'll put that in the clip.
You should.
I will.
I'll scare Miss Nine over here.
But awesome song.
It is. It's great. Fantastic song.
Great song. It is. And I mean, the vocals and the band are truly like sublime right here.
Want to give us some?
No, I can't do that.
You sure?
Yeah, pretty fucking sure I can't sing like that. I'm not sure of a lot. But...
I could do a song. This is one of this song. If you look on YouTube, I've done this song with the King Diamond tribute band I was in. And this one, objectively, I nailed that. When we played it live, that one, it was like nothing. It was easy. Right.
So you guys go look up them, right?
It was them, the King Diamond tribute, the Invisible Guests.
Invisible Guests. Look it up on YouTube before Troy takes it down.
Actually, I didn't put it up, so I can't take it down.
Right. You could always flag it.
I would have taken it down. No, I'm kidding. Maybe.
Well, you guys go watch that video, and underneath the comments on this video, you tell us what you think.
Ooh.
Does this guy have the chops?
Yeah.
All right. Anything else on the invisible guests?
No.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, good. See you next week. Hey, welcome back. What? What?
No, I was gonna say it's got one of my favorite vocal parts from him actually ever when he does that "couldn't believe my eyes" line. That sounds really cool. Yes, yes.
Yes, thank you. That's all we're waiting for.
Well, that wasn't really my intention behind saying that. Thank you, Troy. That was awesome. It is time for tea this week on Rat Salad Review.
It is time for tea, and I do not have tea in here. I have some kind of juice.
How about blood?
No blood. Well, I do have some blood on my legs because I got bit by a few mosquitoes, and I scratched my leg real hard, and it started bleeding. So I do have some blood there, but no teapots around, so I'm safe.
That's good.
Yeah. Anybody ever try that?
Just stay out of the haunted attic. You'll be fine.
Thankfully, I don't have an attic, so I'm okay. And both my grandmothers are dead, so I don't have to worry about that.
Well, clearly, if you read this story, that doesn't really matter.
Oh, that's true too.
Yeah.
Forgot about that. You know, I wondered one thing as I'm listening to this album. I wonder did he have some kind of issue with his grandmother? Why would you think of making a story about your grandmother? You know?
That's a good point.
Yeah, I've never really. I've read a lot of different interviews with him about it, and he's just purposely ambiguous on it. Maybe if he writes a book or something one day, we'll find out.
Maybe.
Well, you could also say that he had a problem with Santa Claus too.
That's true.
Yeah.
Right?
No presents. No presents.
Classic song.
Is it Christmas in Denmark?
Yeah. Not then. Not at that time.
Not in what 1987.
Was it 7? It was.
86,
it came out before
85. That came
85.
out before Fatal Portrait.
Yeah.
Oh, did it?
Before, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that was like a little stopgap between Merciful Fate and his solo act.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yep. Nice little story there. You have to save it.
What's the B-side to that single? I don't even remember.
I have it. I don't remember though.
I don't know.
Anyway.
That's
got nothing to do with this album.
No, not at all. So, it is time for tea, as you said in the beginning of this episode. The following Friday, King's grandmother knocked on his door, and she wanted to show him the house of Amon. Grandma brings King to her room, and King sees his mother sleeping in the rocking chair. Then King sees grandmother has a knife, and she cut a tiny little wound in his mother's hand, and the blood drips into the teapot. It's time for tea. King hears them laugh and tell stories from far beyond the earth. King stayed to listen and learn. Nothing seemed to matter to him at the moment, not even his mother. The song... Oh, I was going on to the other thing. I should have broke this up a little bit better.
Well, dude, one part you actually missed on the Invisible Guest is the reason why he was so comfortable with all this is because he looked deep into his grandmother's eyes at the end of the Invisible Guest, and she put him to a hypnotic trance-like state.
So now I'm going to have to fucking edit that and put it in the other episode.
It's okay, man. We're backing up here. We got the knowledge.
All right, so you guys take over the lead on this one. I'll go last. I'm tired of telling my stories first.
Go ahead,
Okay.
Troy.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, me. Well, as far as a little break in the upbeatness of the first two, right? This one really slowed things down, but it's very captivating. as far as the whole T, the whole focus is the T. It's with blood in it. And it's just creepy. It's just creepy, and it's it's captivating when you listen to this. Again, throughout all the lyrics, when you're reading the lyrics, every time the word "them" is mentioned, it's all caps.
Yeah, okay.
All caps. He really, this was definitely one of his top songs out of all the conceptual albums. This is like the sleepless nights on the on this album. If I can make a comparison, but fantastic song. Still all this grandma crazy shit going on. Grandma's the focus throughout the whole thing, really, the main focus.
Yeah.
But
that evil old bitch.
Oh, the best part was the bridge. The bridge, where it says, where is that? Here in the store, nothing seen this time. No, where is that part? Blood was, no. I'll describe the kind of feeling. Yeah, I think this was I really hope this dream will never end. It's hard to describe the kind of feeling that went on in my mind. A paradise. Just really classic lyrics, great lyrics, fantastic, and these are not traditional lyrics. They're not traditional, the structuring. I mean, there's definitely, as far as the song structure is, that's there, but there's lyrics are all over the place. Doesn't seem it reads more like a story.
Right.
Yes.
Reading lyrics.
Mm-hmm.
Great song.
Yeah, and it's amazing how he fit them into a song.
Yeah.
Not too many people are good at doing that.
No, and then what he did, the way he writes them, it describes it almost perfectly to put those images into your imagination too. And it's amazing how he writes the songs. But I love the change of pace on this one. It's almost ballady, but it's no less badass.
Yeah, the intro is really cool with the acoustic, and you got the electric guitar doing like that little solo in there. I love the intro to the song. It's really cool. I love the slow stuff. I love the middle part of the song too, where it picks up, for the guitar solo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite moments on this record, the bridge and then that guitar solo on T.
Yeah, just a really good song. Like you said, it's a lot like Sleepless Nights. It's got slow and then picks up a little bit and then goes back to slow. A lot of back and forth stuff. Really good song.
And it's got a waltz beat.
Right.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Not a traditional 4/4 count, or in a lot of the songs too, they're very dynamic. There's a lot of different time changes, but in typical heavy metal, it's 4/4 timing a lot of the times. Mm-hmm. But this is what 3/4.
Yeah, during the chorus, right?
Well, really, no.
No, you don't think so?
Wait. No, it's pretty much the whole song.
Yeah,
it's the whole song. Verse, the bridge, the verse, chorus. Yeah, it's 3/4. Mm-hmm. But it's good. It's great. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's a nice change of pace. I don't know. You think we got time for one more? It's already 8:50.
Well, I was going to say no. We're going to have to cut it off to be able to get that set up in time. But one thing I do want to say, since you're recording, just in case I forget about this in the future, is I meant to say this earlier when we first started, but I was focusing more on the songs. One thing I think makes this such a strong album is that, how should I describe this? There's this melodic lower register he used a lot in Merciful Fate, kind of like a baritone almost that he didn't use almost it. I don't think he uses it at all in Fatal Portrait or Abigail, actually. But it comes back on this, and it fits in with his different voices perfectly. It adds a real nice, like, middle bridge, I guess, for him to do a character.
Like what songs? Just so I can kind of think what you're talking about.
Are you talking about his you say baritone, are you referring to his whiny voice?
Yeah.
In the show?
Yeah, Troy knew what I was talking about, yeah.
Can I leave that in the show? I'm going to end the show with that.
But it sounds real similar to like "Come to the Sabbath" and shit like that. Like
Come to the Sabbath.
Yeah. Down by the river bridge, witches and demons are coming. Just follow the magic. Go.
Right,
It's about as high as my voice gets.
But it's, you know what? You love it or you hate it. I love it. It's fun.
I love it
too. I love it too.
Like multiple personalities going. It's pretty cool. I dig it. I'm not making fun of him. Just that's
it's very
what makes
unique.
This great.
Right.
And like I said to Michael Denner, it's almost like a Hammer horror movie come to life. Like, I mean, I know a lot of people hear it as hokey, but it's not. It's like a perfect horror musical mesh. And nobody else has ever done it like he does.
Mm-mm.
I'll tell you, there are people that really don't like it. I know. They love metal, they love hard rock, whatever. They can't stand it. But it's like one of those things. You love it or you don't.
Yeah.
You don't love it, or you don't appreciate it, then you hate it. But honestly, I think it's brilliant. I think it's great. It's great.
It took me a long time to get used to it. When I first got into it, my friend's like, "Listen to this," and then he gives me the tape, and I'm listening. I'm like, I don't get it. I don't like it. The music's cool, but his voice is just too pitchy.
During that time period, it was very different.
Yeah,
different than anything else that you listen to. And I used to listen to this album, to Abigail. What else did I listen to? The Oath, over and over and over and over again. And I used to paint jackets, and that anything that had King Diamond would just allow me to, I felt, be more creative because it was different. Nice. It was just different than anything else. It wasn't straight ahead. Nothing was straight ahead. There's like you just didn't know what was going to happen, and I loved that. I just really liked that. It was very, very almost in a way like progressive. It's like progressive.
Yeah,
it is.
It's progressive.
Yep, good stuff. All right, well, see you guys next week.
See you next week.
Bye.
Adios.
All right. Welcome to This Broadcast Belongs to Them. We are back. We are up to them.
From outer space.
What?
I just walked in to find you here with that sad look upon your face.
That's the wrong album. Wrong band, too. Jesus.
Well, then don't say you're back.
This is part 2 of them. On first part, we had Troy Norr. Unfortunately, Troy Norr could not make it for part 2. So we invited Ralph to come back and do part 2 with us. And
I am so proud to be the second choice, dude.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Well, you weren't around. We didn't even know you when we did the first one. We did this way before we even started the show. We were just trying to get things ready. So we never even knew you back then. But we're glad to have you now.
Thank you.
It's all better now. So since you weren't here for the first half, you want to give us like a little taste of what do you think of the first 4 songs off this album?
The first 3 are my favorite tracks on here.
Actually.
Well, the first 3 are my favorite tracks. I love Welcome Home. It's in order. My favorite is Welcome Home, then Invisible Guest, then T. Is T the third track?
Yeah.
Those are my 3 favorite tracks. My friend had a promo copy of a single for T where it brought a bag of tea.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
I've seen those. Yeah, they look cool.
Yeah. But, you got Welcome Home. I mean, that video is insane. It's cool. It would have been awesome to see a movie made out of this whole thing, but
that's the best one, I think.
Yeah.
The best story to make a movie out of would be demented as fuck. Make a movie of them and conspiracy.
Yeah. All right. So now we will get to Mother's Getting Weaker. It was the last night they would have tea, and King's mother complained about feeling dizzy the night before. She was getting weaker and looked pale day by day. Missy tried to get King to call for help, but King, being in a drugged state, cut the phone cords and left Missy and his mother behind. As King walks away, Missy shouted, "I hate you." This song, yes, she is a brat. This song picks the album back up for me. Again, Mickey D's drumming's insane. His drumming's insane on this whole album. This album's very progressive, and his drumming's really progressive on this album. Especially, even more so than on Abigail and even on Fatal Portrait. I like the time changes. Only thing I'm not crazy about in this song is the chorus, and the way King's vocals just seem a bit off in the chorus. I don't know if anybody feels the same way about that.
Not really, no. I thought he sounded pretty good, actually. I like the chorus to this song.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. I also really like the guitar solo, too.
Right. But, I get why he's singing like that. I've just thought of that now. Because I guess he's playing the part of his mother, so he would be sounding like he's getting weak, I guess, in a way. That makes sense.
Yeah, that would be the point, yes.
Yes, I kind of just realized it now. Sorry. I'm sorry, all right?
Yeah, I think they put a roofie in her teeth.
Concept album. A roofie in her teeth.
Well, because sometimes I forget. Like, because on the other albums, I mean, he did play the parts, but on this album, he started on this album really getting into different characters with his voice.
Yeah.
You know, one thing I was curious about, and I wasn't really we did the first part of this so long ago. It's hard for me.
We said on the first part. Anything we say differently now from the first part, sorry.
But I was looking at the album, and I didn't see a woman credited at all for the mother's voice on the first track. But that doesn't sound like King.
That's definitely a woman.
Yeah.
And she sounds hot.
Yeah.
Yes, she does.
I meant to look it up to see if there was anything written on who the hell could have possibly been. Maybe it was his girlfriend at the time or something, probably.
She sounds like she'd be one of them hot chicks in like a slasher movie, like the fucking Stepfather, where the serial killer swoops in. And
I love the music for the most part of the song, but there's a few things like that breakdown in the middle part.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not too crazy about that, but this is probably my least favorite on the album. I like the verse parts in the song the most, besides that chorus. So it's okay. The song's all right.
Well, I do remember they did not play this on the Them tour.
Really?
Yeah.
Doesn't sound like it would translate to being played live very well.
I do remember they did a lot of this album, but this one and another one coming up they didn't play live.
Yeah, I could see why. It's a little bit, it's a little odd. Got a lot of time signature things going on in there.
Well, I mean,
a little hard to play.
Well, I'm also talking about the show I saw. Who knows on other shows,
Oh, interesting.
I watched part of one earlier where they kicked the show off with 3 songs from them in a row. They did Welcome Home, The Invisible Guest, and then Twilight Symphony, which I thought was kind of weird.
Yeah,
but it sounded really good.
Yeah. All right, so what do you guys think about this song? Greg?
It's okay. It furthers a story. I don't like that breakdown part in the middle either, though. This is the first song where I don't love everything about it on the record, but it's still good. And the solo is pretty ripping, so.
Yeah. Ralph?
Yeah, it's not one of my favorites on here, but I don't dislike it at all. But I think it's kind of like this is a song that's kind of a necessity to keep the story going.
Yeah.
Maybe they didn't put enough, or they may have overthought it with that middle section.
Yeah.
Let's just put something bizarre here,
right.
But I dig it. It's I never really thought about what's my least favorite, but it may be this one.
Yeah.
I think about it. But I like it. I still like it.
Yeah, it's not terrible. Next comes Bye Bye Missy. Tea time Monday night, King was passing time when he saw his mother swaying up the stairs, and he knew Grandma had sent them again. Grandma opens the door to see Missy, who was crying when she saw her mother sitting in the rocking chair, yelling, "What have you done to Ma?"
That's pretty good, Wayne.
That was pretty good, right? Grandma decided they had to get rid of Missy. Grandma grabs Missy and she struggles to break free. Missy threatens to break the teapot and she does it anyway. King sees tea all over the floor and hears their voices growling. She broke Amon. Hears their voices growling. She broke Amon and die. They drop the teacups. Forced by invisible hands, Grandma pushes Missy down the stairs as King waves goodbye. They talk about Missy to the they talk about taking Missy to the fireplace in the kitchen. I really like the story to this. I mean, it's pretty messed up, you know, what happens to Missy at the end of this. But
oh yeah,
this is another song. It's not 100% my favorite, but there are some cool parts in here. The music I like. I like the slow down part in the chorus. The part where the music really changes when Missy's fighting with Grandma. That's a really cool part. And the tea spills on the floor, and it's got those weird, growling voices and things going on in the background. Those are pretty cool. That whole section, it's cool. I just like that whole section there. That's my favorite part of the whole song.
Yeah. I like whatever you done to my mom.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty funny, and they mentioned they're going to throw her in a fireplace, but they ended up throwing down the stairs.
Right. Yeah.
What's with King and throwing people down the stairs?
I don't know. I wonder if he was pushed down the stairs when he was younger.
I have a theory that you remember that glam band Poison?
Yeah.
I have a theory. I have a theory that every time CeCe DeVille recorded a guitar solo, he did it while they threw him down a flight of stairs. Sounds like it.
And if you guys remember Poison, please comment in the comment section.
Yeah, there you go. Poison reference. CeCe.
The best part about Poison was when they played the VMAs in '93 and they were supposed to do Unskinny Bop and he just runs out all fucking coked up and starts playing Talk Dirty to Me.
Yeah.
And the whole band just kind of turns at the same time and looks at him.
And he had this big poofy red hair and shit.
And his eyes are fucking huge. Yeah!
I could be wrong, but I think they fired him right after that performance.
Terrible.
Hit the road, CeCe.
Greg?
I really like this song. I think Mickey D really shines on this. This is some of my favorite drumming he does on the record outside of the opening 3 tracks, actually. Even though I still like Mother's Getting Weaker, I feel like the record picks back up with this part. The interplay between Pete Blakk and Andy LaRocque on this is really cool too. And what have you done to my ma? That's definitely the Silly King vocal highlight of the album.
Yeah.
Oh no, there's one coming up.
I really like the chorus to this song too. It's very ethereal, feels very ghost story like. It's very effective.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
I think King hits like the most highs on any album.
On this one?
Them.
Yeah.
I was thinking about that earlier, and I think you're right, Ralph. I really think he does on this record.
Yeah, he does a lot of the highs like throughout this album, more than other albums.
Mm. Or does it sound like that because the album has such a strange mix?
Probably.
Like it's very thin.
Possibly. I could see that, yeah.
Mm.
And it's not a curse. I am blessed with not knowing what bad production is. And the reason I say I'm blessed is because I get to enjoy albums more than... Because I always hear, like, albums I think are fine, I always hear people saying, oh, the drums are buried or the vocals. I'm like, I don't hear none of it. I guess, it's a blessing. I get to enjoy it more, Because a lot of people do say, I've heard this said about them a lot, actually.
Yeah, I hear it too.
The mix is terrible. It's just... the songs are good, but they're terrible. And I'm like, the sound is terrible. And I'm like, well, I guess I like it more because the sound sounds fine to me. But I know, believe me, there's only 2 albums in existence that I think the production's bad, and I still like it. Mm-hmm. Blizzard of Oz, Ozzy, I think, if you compare it to Diary of a Madman, It's night and day. And Hotter Than Hell from Kiss, I think, benefits from it sounding like it was recorded in a tunnel. Because it's such a bad production, but the songs are so dark and heavy, it kind of works, you know?
Yeah. That stuff's fine. But I think
that's the only time I notice production things.
Yeah, but I think what it is with them, like Abigail had a lot of reverb, and it might have been like a little bassy as well. And then when you put them on, it's just very thin. It just sounds very flat, and you feel like you have to like crank the bass up on your stereo or wherever you're listening to it on to.
I will say this: I've never owned them on vinyl. I've always had it on CD. Not recently, like I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago, I bought it, some reissue. Mm-hmm. And that I will tell you, man, you crank that shit all the way up, it's not that loud on vinyl. Yeah. I put on the CD afterwards, and it's fine. Mm. But vinyl doesn't sound good. You know, and I'm sure you guys are aware of this. They're releasing them all again.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah. Actually, it's back there. I just bought the Abigail Live one, because that's the only record I didn't have of it. I have the CD, so I had to get that one. So I was thinking about getting the other ones because they're kind of cool. They're all colored versions now.
Oh, are they?
Yeah.
I might get them, you know, because I don't know. And the Merciful Fate ones, the early ones. Because I think the other ones sound fine, you know.
The other remasters. You know what it is I don't like about those is the way they changed the album art. Because I was watching one of your videos and I saw you were going through them because you have some of the remastered vinyls. And they changed the back of Don't Break.
I hate it.
I hate
it. Yeah. I hate it. And Melissa, too. Melissa's just King on the back. I love that picture of King with the cross on the altar.
Yeah.
Smoke. Yeah. It's like, what the fuck, you know?
Why would you
coming out of the castle on the back of Don't Break the Oath. Those I might get again because I'm such a Fate fanatic. But as far as like, you know, shit like, you know, The Eye and Spider's Lullaby, I think they sound fantastic on vinyl.
Yeah, I think I got the remastered one on vinyl. But the only other one I need now is the vampire one, Return the Vampire and In the Beginning.
Right.
So I have every other one. So those I'll probably get. Next, A Broken Spell. King stumbles outside and started to feel his mind fight for control. He realized the power was way less outside, especially with the teapot broken. King looks through the cellar window and sees them searching. Oh, sorry, my phone here. Sees them searching for something, and they found an axe which they threw through the cellar door and up the kitchen stairs, and King passes out. Boy, they got a good arm.
Yeah.
When he woke, he saw smoke coming from the chimney and realized they have burned Missy to death. When the spell finally broke, King went back to the attic to see if Grandma was still there. My favorite part of this whole song is where the song breaks down to that acoustic section.
Yeah.
And he starts, talking about how Missy, he saw them smoking everything for Missy. And I think that's really cool. That's my favorite part of the whole song. That's my favorite part of the whole song. Otherwise, this song I could take or leave this one too, in a way.
Yeah, that's the best. Oh, yeah. Sorry, go ahead, Ralph.
No, you can go. Go ahead.
Okay, that's the best part of the song. This one's just kind of there for me. It just kind of furthers the story. Not really crazy about it outside of that one part. I mean, it's okay. Doesn't make you want to turn it off, but there's nothing really special about this one.
Yeah, so I think.
Go ahead.
Okay.
I like the beginning. It sounds kind of snotty. I stumbled out of Grandma's room. That part is kind of snotty.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But then it just kind of downgrades. And I agree, like it picks up during that acoustic piece, which is my favorite part as well. And I do like the very end where he goes, "Oh, I hate that bitch." I like those three little parts.
Yeah, that's funny. Greg doesn't like it though.
No, that one was a little too goofy for me. It's laughable in a bad way. I can live with it because he's in character as a kid, but I feel that could have been executed better.
There's one on a later album. I'm not even going to tell you which album it is because when we get to it, you'll hear it. Because I listened to it not too long ago, a few weeks ago, and I heard him do it, And I couldn't stop laughing. I was at work, and I was just started hysterically laughing while I'm working, and people probably looking at me, why is he laughing? But just to hear him do these sounds, it just sounds so cartoonic. It's just weird, very weird. But I don't think this was that cartoonish. I like this one when he says that. Where did I leave off?
Now we're on the accusation chair.
Accusation chair. Grandma was...
Wait, but before we go to the next song, if they do make this into the movie, coolest part would definitely be the floating axe chopping Missy to bits.
Yeah.
And then just seeing the invisible hands throw her into the fireplace.
Accusation chair. Grandma was waiting for King and told him not to be a fool. Her eyes stared right into his brain, and he convinced her he was fine. She believed everything he said, and she asked King to bring her outside. Outside, she was unprotected by them, so he grabbed her cane and tells her she will pay for her deeds, and her sick mind has come to an end. Grandma died, and they were waiting for King to come back in the house, but just ran away and in the woods, where he fainted and dreamt he was one of them, and he could hear their voices. This song picks back up for me because, like we were just talking, I think the album dips a little bit after like the fourth song, after T. It kind of just gets like songs are good, but they kind of lose it for me. But this one picks it back up. It's a little bit more straightforward than the others have been, but the lyrics go very well with the music. Another great part is in the middle, where it's got that like Twilight Zone kind of sound thing, and it tells everything to stop it, and all those voices stop. And then that drum comes back in with the marching drum sound, and that's my favorite part of the whole song. It's awesome. But this song's great. It's a good thing where the Kim comes back with his deep voice and all those creepy sounds that he does or whatever. That's cool. I mean, I don't know how he had this idea to make all these weird demon sounds.
Well, because they're demons.
I know that, but
it would make sense to do something to differentiate them. As far as using his own voice, I mean,
that's what I mean. Like he's the one doing all these voices, except for the mother in the beginning.
I mean, I'd like to think he did it to challenge himself and his development as a vocalist, since the concept album was something he always wanted to do. But it could be a money thing. I mean, they were just on Roadrunner. I know Abigail was popular, but I don't think he had really broken big solo yet until they did this one and then Conspiracy. So might not have been able to afford voice actors.
Might not have been. Ralph, Accusation Chair.
This is my favorite after T.
Really?
I love this song. I've always loved it. I loved how King does a voice I've never heard him do before. That nowhere to hide. I've never heard him sound like that before.
No.
Grandma had died. Just the tone of that voice is so cool that I wish he would do that more. It just sounds so cool and evil and cool. It's like a zombie Fonzie. It just sounds so fucking cool the way he does it. And also the lyrics, it's all brutal. How, he kills the grandma and pulls the cane out away from her. And it gets pretty brutal. This may be the most brutal lyrically song on here. Where it gets really like, murderous and crazy. And musically, phenomenal. This is a song that it sticks out, man. It does stick out. And I understand what you said. It picks up after this. I mean, I guess, as much as I like the songs between T and this, this is my favorite one after T, because I think it's so strong. And then, the songs after aren't that strong, though, even though I still like them, but I think this one is just as strong as the first three. So, and I love it. I love this song. One of my favorites.
Yeah. Greg.
Yeah, I love it. It's a great song. Like Ralph was saying, it's definitely the next best one after the first three. And then I like Twilight Symphony again after this. But
you got them first. The acoustics.
Yeah. This probably has my favorite Pete Blakk solo. Well, that's hard to say because I love the first three songs so much. But this definitely has the same energy as the first three songs do.
Yeah.
It's a fucking ripper. Yeah.
Yep. Yes, it is. Then we have Them, the acoustic song. Not really much to say about this one. It's an acoustic one with some demons laughing in the background. A little music box. That's
I think it's really effective, especially after he just beat his grandma to death.
Yeah.
little insane peace of mind.
Right.
I think it's very, very welcomed because it gives a little light and shade to the album. And, with all this brutality going through it, and all of a sudden there's a little beautiful piece, but it's a beautiful piece that, is like a horror movie because, in the midst of all this beauty, you hear, bing!
Man.
It's like, bing! Just to freak you out a bit. But it's still beautifully constructed. And the only thing that I would complain about this song is why the fuck would they put this on Dark Sides? It's like, why? Why would you do that? It's kind of pointless. Why because correct me if I'm wrong. Oh no, I think Halloween's on Dark Side, right?
I think Halloween is.
Yeah, I mean, but that would be the only one that's not like a B-side. I think.
Yeah.
I gotta go look again.
Yeah,
but for them to be on there, it's like, dude, put Invisible Guest or something else. Why this? Out of all the songs on here.
Right.
It just makes no sense to me. It's not supposed. It's really not. It's supposed to. It belongs to them, like this network.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It's just a bridge. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
It was Halloween, Them, No Presents for Christmas, Shrine, The Lake, and Phone Call.
See, none of those are. They're all bonus tracks except for Halloween. No Presents for Christmas is not technically a bonus track, but it was a single.
Right.
Well, non-album single, yeah.
Was so keep them off there, or
maybe there was like a time reason because everything's like 3 songs are like 4 songs are 4 minutes long,
well,
and then the other 2 are like.
Send Andy in there and do a little doodle on the acoustic and throw that in there.
I think they would have made something.
Dark Side Reprise or some shit. I don't know.
Them Part 2.
Yeah.
Twilight Symphony. Morning came, and so did the police. King waiting in an ambulance for Dr. Landau to return to tell him why they had taken him away. King was glad of what he did because he could have been the next in line. No one found any traces of Missy, but King wouldn't tell them anyway because he could never explain it. Grandma was dead with an open wound in her neck, but again, King couldn't explain because they would blame it all on him. Dr. Landau returned, shouting at the King, and before he could explain, the doctor sends King away, stating the boy has lost his mind. Time passes, and King is back on the outside. King hasn't seen his mother since he has been taken away, and now must leave for the old house. Probably my second favorite song on this album. I just like how King's vocals make it sound when he's going crazy. The song itself, the verses and the chorus is catchy. Some really cool bass lines in the middle of the song when Mickey D does the drum fill. And it's a great ending to an album. It's a little strange ending to the album because it sounds like there should be like maybe one more song after this. But it's an awesome song.
Yeah, it's I love, this album like ends really great because, again, I don't like saying these songs are bad between T and Accusation Chair. I do like them, but I think how from Accusation Chair to the end is like, it's like strong bookends, right. Is what I'm trying to say. This album has a really strong bookend, and this song is awesome, man. I love, again, King does that little weird voice where he goes, "Grandma was dead with an open neck." It's kind of like, it's still cool. It's atmospheric, and I love it. Twilight Symphony rules. Great song, great way to end the album. Because it does end the album. The next thing is not really a song.
Right,
No, I would cut Coming Home from the record if it was my personal decision. Yeah, but the Twilight Symphony is awesome. I love this song. Everything, it's easily just as strong as Welcome Home. Just a great ender.
Yeah, it's got a really cool chorus. I like the chorus a lot.
Everything
just
about
a spoken
it is
word, really.
Yeah, everything's cool. Coming Home, last song. Not even a song. It's just like a I don't know, what do you call this? Like a actor.
A spoken word.
Spoken word kind of thing.
Yeah.
The phone rings. It's hilarious, really. Thank God this isn't a true story. The phone rings and Grandma is on the other line. She says she saw him from the window in the attic and they are all waiting for him upstairs, even Missy and Grandpa. She bets he's dying for a good cup of tea, and then the door locks behind him.
It's just kind of like a.
It's like a Roger Corman ad for part 2 of a movie, is what it is.
Yeah.
Did he do Death Race 2000?
Yes, he did.
I watched that last night. I have the Blu-ray. I haven't seen it in years. What a great movie! It really did.
Movie.
It held up so well. A close personal friend of mine.
Love David Carradine.
I love how Sylvester Stallone punches a chick.
Yeah, Machine Gun Joe.
But Turbo.
Hey.
We love you, Frankenstein.
It's another movie I haven't seen.
Oh,
I
man.
love when he runs over the doctors and the nurses instead of the elderly.
Oh, yeah. They didn't see that one coming. Nurses brought out all the wheelchairs, and I like when Sylvester Stallone first shows up and everybody's yelling for Frankenstein. He gets pissed off, takes out a machine gun, and kills everybody. You want Frankenstein? You want Frankenstein? He does a Rambo on them.
Yeah.
All right, let's get back to them.
I'll have to watch it. What do you think of the... Yeah, I have to. There's a bonus track, Phone Call. What do you guys think of Phone Call?
I would like to send you something that you two will not get, but believe me, anybody out there that speaks Spanish will laugh because I covered it. I covered that song with my friend, and he played Grandma, and I played King Diamond, but in Spanish. With the phone ringing, the whole atmosphere. There's a compilation CD that came out of all Florida bands, and both my bands were on it. But then the guy that did it, we were just talking one day, and we would sometimes sing songs in Spanish because they sound funny in Spanish. And we did Phone Call in Spanish, and dude, let's record it. And we put it on this compilation CD. So remind me, I'll send it to you. Maybe you can tack it on here. Believe me,
I will definitely tack that onto the show.
Any Spanish-speaking person will laugh their ass off. We don't go line for line. Right. We say like some bad words in Spanish during it. And I also say in Spanish like it's happening again. It's fucking hilarious. Yeah, I'll send it to you. The Spanish version of Phone Call. Whoever would cover that.
Yeah, right.
Just remind me. I'll send it your way.
I will not let you forget that because that'll be a great ending to the show.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, definitely. All right. So thank you very much for joining us on this episode, and you will be back for Conspiracy.
All right. Right on. I like that one. That one's even fucking heavier.
Yeah.
I think so, too.
It's one of his heaviest albums.
Yeah, I think so.
Fucking awesome. I love it.
The production's a lot better, too.
And the tour also features probably my favorite ending he's ever had to a King Diamond show.
You saw it?
Going into the lit coffin. No. I was like 3.
Oh,
I've seen videos of it.
Yeah, me too. It didn't come here. But, dude, they did Nuns Have No Fun in the encores. How cool is that?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
Yeah, that's on the VHS I have. It's awesome.
We may have the same. It's a single camera bootleg.
From Houston?
I believe so, yes.
Yep, yeah, same show.
We'll talk about the near-death experience on the Conspiracy, what happened on stage. King almost got killed. If you guys haven't heard that story.
No, I have not. And save that for the next show.
I will.
Yeah.
You want to listen to this story. It's fucking insane.
Foreshadowing.
There's never been any mishaps or anything on YouTube of King Diamond that I know of.
Oh, yeah. He almost got killed. I'll explain.
Oh, my God. All right. Well, please tune in for that one. Don't forget to tune in for that episode. And Ralph, let everybody know where they can listen to you.
Can I just put that all aside instead of plugging shit because of this quarantine? Anybody watching out there that's female that lives in Florida, I need to get laid really bad. That's my plug.
All right. Where can they contact you?
Ralph Viera on Facebook.
What's your address so they could just come to your door?
Yeah, right. I won't say that.
No fat chicks.
Well, it depends what they do.
All right.
Hey, man, it's been a while for me, dude. I don't care what you
get
look
back to.
Do you like cake? Yeah.
All I want
Do you like my ass? Yeah. Do you want to eat cake off my ass?
Getting really
what
bad.
Kind of cake?
You want to toss my cake? Hey, man, as long as she's got a pulse and no penis, I'm down.
I'm missing this whole thing.
Yeah. Nobody needs the crying game.
No, not me. Even though I admit, man, there's
My thing went to
there's trannies that'll fool me, man, these days. I'm like, man, that's hot.
Sure.
That's a dude. Holy shit, I feel gay.
Oh, yeah. Hey, some of them look really good, but I'm
Yeah.
not into dudes.
No, me neither. It just ruins it. Still,
I missed.
I gotta say, I gotta be honest.
I missed the whole thing what you guys said because something happened to Skype here.
Well, I
Everybody's
hope
blurred.
It was gold, right, Greg?
Yeah, that was
But
awesome. I hope it's saved up.
Anyway, but please, everybody, go check out Pete Blakk. All right? We will be back next week. See you. Bye. All right. Well, we are here with Pete Blakk, who was formerly in King Diamond for the Them, Conspiracy, and the I albums. How's it going, Pete?
It's going pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah. So, what have you been up to lately?
Well, music-wise, you mean?
Yeah, music-wise. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I haven't done anything actually for many years. The last thing I did was my Disaster Piece album.
Really?
And yeah, I mean, actually, I've been just a couple of last 5-6 years since King went on the road. When after his operation, he called me up and asked me if I wanted to be, stand by, stand in if something happened, to any members, doing touring and stuff, so I can, jump in.
Wow.
And that's what I've been doing music-wise. I just, I get the set list every tour, and
Really?
I go through the set list and just being ready if anything happens.
Oh, wow. So I guess that's why maybe a week or so ago, you posted a picture with him in one of the backstage areas.
Yeah, exactly. That was from Stockholm.
Okay.
Yeah. So usually if I'm around, in that area, because I travel a lot right now. I'm in U.S. and if I'm around when they tour, I usually go see the guys. Of course, I mean we're still friends, and me and Andy we still we talk now and then. So
yeah, well that's cool.
That's natural.
Do you have any parts in like the new album or anything, or just he just wants you for live stuff?
I wish I had. No, I don't. They haven't asked me. No,
Okay.
actually, I asked King. I think it was like maybe 6 years ago or something. I asked him if I could come back in the band, if we could do something, like get together again. But he didn't respond.
Oh, wow. I guess you got your answer.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I thought it would be a cool thing to get back, and I know, that thing we did back then was pretty. I think there's a lot of fans that probably would see some of that shit again.
Oh yeah. Yeah, people talk about that all the time. There's a King Diamond Merciful Fate group on Facebook, and they always, bring back the Them album and how great, your work was on it, and just how much people love that album.
Yeah, Yeah, I just spoke to a guy here the other day, and in the same we were talking about that, and I said it's chemistry, you know, like me and Andy, we had some really, you know, cool stuff going. You know, it's unfortunately you didn't realize it back then how good it really was. Now we have a couple of years to look back, and you have you know, distance yourself to it. You can see, you know, I mean, some of the trade-offs that me and Andy did, that was just pure chemistry. Right. It just happens, you know, nothing planned, you know, and you know, like Led Zeppelin without John Bonham is no Led Zeppelin, you know. I mean, it's the same thing.
Right.
So, no, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of chemistry back then. Now, we left off with Michael Denner after he left the band, and then Michael Moon joined for a little while, and you replaced Michael Moon.
Yeah, but Michael Moon, he was only in for touring. He didn't do any records.
Yeah. So where did King find you? Like what did you start doing before you were in King Diamond?
Do you want the real story, the true story?
Yeah, of course.
Yes.
No, give me a fake story.
Yeah, because
I was going to say, I know there's an album in there by Geisha though that I actually have, Phantasmagoria.
Yeah. I give you the short. By the way, how much time do we have here? Should I do short versions or?
We have as much time as you want. We're on your time.
Yes. Okay, so there's hardly no one that knows the true story, but because of course, since I'm not in the band anymore, no one likes to tell that story. But this is how it actually began. It was actually me, Mickey D, and Michael Denner. Me and Mickey, we had a band, like you said, Geisha, and in '83 we moved down from Gothenburg to Copenhagen, and the singer in Geisha was Jens, which was the original singer in Bratz, and Bratz was actually, pre-Merciful Fate, the embryo of Merciful Fate, because Jens was actually still in the band playing bass when King joined.
Oh, wow.
And I think they didn't get along or something, but anyway, so '83 we moved down to Copenhagen because we had a manager, and he's gonna get us a record deal, blah blah blah. Back then there were hardly any metal bands around. I mean, Denmark was I think it was Merciful Fate, Lars Ulrich, of course, with connection to Denmark, another band called Artillery, and I think Pretty Mates just recently started, but there was hardly no metal. So since we were, the band moving down, and Jens were friends with Denners, we started hanging out, and this was when before they split up. So me and Michael Denner and Mickey, we hung out a lot, and what happened was they came back from the Merciful Fate tour in '84, and we were hanging in Michael Denner's apartment watching Swedish hockey. We wanted to follow the World Championship in hockey, because back then Denmark, they could pick up Swedish television signal. This was way before cable TV and all that. so Michael Denner had one of those apartments that could pick up the Swedish channel. So we were hanging out, watching hockey, and then all of a sudden Michael turns to me and Mickey said, he's like, Merciful Fate broke up. And we were going like, what?
Wow.
Yeah, it broke up. And me and King want you two guys to be part of a new super band that we're going to form. And I was going like,
I don't think so. Because Geisha was my kind of, baby.
Right.
And anyway, I didn't take it seriously. But when we went back home that night, Mickey said, I'm thinking about it. I'm gonna join," he said. And I was like, "Are you crazy? I mean, we have this band going, blah, blah, blah." He said, "Yeah, but Merciful Fate, they're, a kind of, underground upcoming band, and, they have a U.S. tour and all that." So actually, me and Mickey, we were the original King Diamond members, but unfortunately, or whatever, I said no. So I turned it down, and I said, "Okay, whatever, good luck." Mickey joined, and I said to Michael and King, I know a guy that probably could fit, as a guitarist instead of me. I had a friend, he was hardcore Merciful Fate fan, which I was not back then. And so I fixed him the gig, but he got fired after 2 weeks because some guys can't cope when they, are close to success or, fame. So he didn't behave. Anyway, he got fired after 2 weeks. So I told Mickey, what about Andy? He can replace him, So I actually kind of, in terms, recommended Andy to be the guitarist in King Diamond.
Oh, wow.
So Andy joined. They recorded Fatal Portrait. And when Michael Denner, when they came back after, let me see, I'm right here. No, it's got to be, So after Abigail, they recorded Abigail. Denner didn't want to tour. He was tired of touring.
Yep.
And they asked me to join. And unfortunately, I just had the drummer from Europe joining my band, and we had a deal going. So I said no again the second time.
Wow.
I said, "No, I'm sorry, I can't do it." So Michael Moon jumped in, did that U.S. tour. They came back again, and he got fired. And I met King at the party, at the New Year's party, I think it was. And we chit chatted a little bit, and it was only him, Mickey, and King in the band because Timmy couldn't tour because he had a kid, so he kind of left the band. Denner was out, Michael Moon was fired. So I said to King, "Okay, King, this is it. Why don't we do what we should have done from the beginning? I can join the band." And day after, on the way home, because we were driving from Copenhagen to Gothenburg, you can drive by car. It's not that far.
Right.
Me and Mickey and Andy were talking in the car, and King had probably called them up and said, "Hey, you got to, see if Pete, was serious about joining the band." And I said, "Okay, I'm in. Let's do it." And I had one request. I want my bass player, Hal, to be the bass player.
Wow. Yeah.
So and there you have it, the whole story.
So that's where Hal came from, too. Nice.
Yeah. So Hal was my bass player in Geisha. He replaced the old bass player, and he was in Geisha for maybe a year or so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a cool story. I don't think we didn't hear nothing like that from Michael Denner.
Nope.
Yeah, cool. So when you so third time's the charm, I guess, right?
Yeah, I mean, you can't. It's neurotic. You can't go back and change what you've done. I mean, but of course, I regret. Number one, I regret that I didn't join from the beginning. Of course, what could have happened. But number two, I also regret that I left the band back in the 90s. I didn't have to leave the band. I could have done, whatever. But when you're, I wouldn't say young, but back then you didn't think the way I'm thinking now, and well, that's how it is.
Yeah.
So you can't change history.
Yeah. So were you into King's writing styles and stuff like that, with like the satanic kind of writing, and lyrics and things like that?
Not really satanic, but I myself was interested in the occult, when I was a kid, kind of. I grew up with the Richie Blackmore and but I wasn't like King, I wasn't like a believer, and back in the days in King Diamond, it's kind of, King has always been King, the band has his name,
right?
And we, the band, so to say, we were more like, we were into, music. We loved, the music style. We never ever kind of got involved in King stuff. King did his thing, and we did our thing. So, but same thing, when you look back and the stuff I couldn't see when I was in the band, like what we did was, King is a freaking genius,
right.
The stuff that he's been doing. And I couldn't, what do you say, what's the English word for that? It comes later. So today I have more respect, than I had when I was in the band. You
really?
get what I'm?
Yeah.
Oh,
so,
like hindsight or something.
Yeah. So back when I was in the band, I didn't have that, respect for what King was doing back then as I have today. Today I can say, wow, those stories and, the way he does his lyrics with all the voices and, it's freaking genius.
Right, yeah.
The stuff he's doing. And back then, I wasn't even thinking about it that much. It was more like, it was cool. It was part of what we were doing and all that. But like I said, we were the musicians. We were more into the music, and
right.
Me and Andy were into guitar playing and trying to be as hot, as good as we could, innovative or whatever,
Yeah.
But today I have tremendous respect of King's writing and his the stories. And anyway, I have no idea what he's been doing after the Eye, because I have haven't hardly heard any songs, anything. But them, Conspiracy and the Eye, those albums, freaking killer.
Right. Yeah.
Yes.
Is there a reason for that? That you haven't?
Well, like I said in the beginning, it's chemistry. The way I see it.
No. Is there a reason that you haven't listened to anything since the Eye?
Oh, okay. No, because I haven't had any interest in listening. When I left, there was like a gap. They didn't do any records for a long time, and I didn't follow. I didn't know what kind of albums they did, or but then when I moved to US in 2006, and when I came over here, I knew King was in Dallas, and I was thinking like, wow, I should give King a call, because we kind of left. We were not left that we were like hated each other, or maybe he hated me. I don't know, but we didn't talk for
really,
what was it, 25 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what was your reasoning for leaving after the Eye?
Well, several reasons. It was the music industry were kind of, not good for metal.
Yeah.
Number one. We lost our record deal. Number two.
Oh, really?
Number three. I was offered by a management in Los Angeles, start working with them, and they wanted me to do like a solo thing, which was called Black Totem.
Mm-hmm.
And and I remember that even Andy was kind of, he was kind of, he didn't know what leg to stand on, what was going to happen with the band, so it was kind of, we didn't kind of fumbling in the darkness,
No.
And it just happened.
Right.
I just formed my own band, Totem, and went with that. But it was so hard because, you remember, I don't know how old or how young you guys are, but in the 90s, it was rough for everyone. 90s, 90 up to all the way through 90s, I think, all the way up to the 2000s. It was hard.
Yep.
It was hard.
Yeah, that's when all the grunge bands took over and metal didn't know what to do.
Exactly. I mean, it's the last, 5, 6, 7 years that metal came back, kind of.
Yeah, pretty much. That's what it seems like, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the 90s were weird, man. I mean, you had Geezer Butler basically played on a Fear Factory record.
Yeah.
Well, and on the Eye too, you guys you changed your drum sound. You didn't use real drums. Mickey D played the electronic drum kit, and that's what a lot of bands were doing at that time.
Snowy did.
That's what I meant. Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah, we had him on there too. It's late. I'm half awake. But yeah.
Well, that was King's decision. Maybe he didn't. I don't know. I wasn't inside his head, but maybe he didn't believe that Snowy could do it. Anyway, Snowy was also I got him in the band. He was a young kid back then.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
When we were rehearsing drummers in Los Angeles, and we couldn't find anyone, that could play. And it's hard, of course, to replace Mickey D, as you know. But so answer to that, we used the drum machine, but it was Snowy that programmed. It was his playing. It was his. He was inside, together with King and Roberto to, make sure that it was like the way he played.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can definitely tell he's playing with his style.
Yeah. He's an awesome drummer. But he's also an awesome singer.
Yeah, he is. You actually joined him one of his tours, right? For an anniversary thing or something not too long ago?
For one gig.
Yeah, okay.
I did 2 songs.
1 gig.
For 3.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. All right. Well, when you got into King Diamond and you did the Them album, what was like your favorite song that you'd done?
My favorite song?
Yeah, from the Them album.
Probably. I mean, I like them all, but there's 2 songs that stands out in my mind, and that is T and Bye Bye Missy.
Oh wow.
Oh, okay.
Any particular reason?
T is just a incredible song, and I think my guitar work on that one is good, and Bye Bye Missy is a trademark, I think, for the chemistry in between me and Andy. If you listen to that lead where we trade off, that's a beauty. That just doesn't happen. You can't plan that thing. That's so yeah.
Right. Cool. What did you think about doing the video for? What did you think about doing the video for Welcome Home?
What I think about doing it?
Yeah, was that the first video you did?
You mean no, I did a couple of videos before, but I mean it was fun. We were out in an old English castle, and the right atmosphere. Yeah. We filmed there for, I remember, for a whole day, all the way into the night. You can see some of the shots is actually night shots, where they filmed when it was dark.
Yeah.
And no, it was fun. It was It was. I think it's a cool video. I think it was. We got a lot of requests on MTV back in the days. If not one of the most requested, we were really high up on the list.
Yeah, it was a huge step up from the Family Ghost video.
Yeah. That's a little bit embarrassing. You know, that they what they did to King. They forced him to not use the real makeup and all that crap.
Yeah. Now, you were involved with the band when they had the whole the Gene Simmons and King Diamond thing, right? With the makeup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember coming up to King's apartment, and he just got the letter from the lawyers, and he was furious.
Wow.
From Gene Simmons' lawyers.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was. I mean, that's typical Gene Simmons, of course. You know, he wanted.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't really know the reason why, but if he just wanted to play some games, or if he was serious about all that crap. But I mean, in the end, King had to back down, and he remade his makeup. So that's when the makeup for that era, you know, he had for at least 2-3 years came out.
Yeah. Now, you didn't really see any semblance with him and Gene Simmons. It didn't look anything like his at all.
No.
I mean, if anything, his older Merciful Fate makeup maybe looked more like Gene Simmons's, but not really. You know, that whole thing was ridiculous.
No, but I can see King's point on backing down, though. I mean, Gene's got the money.
Gene's got the money.
Frivolous lawsuits.
Exactly.
¿Oigo?
Oye, Ralphie.
¿Quién es?
Es tu abuela.
Pero tú estás muerta.
Ahí de más maneras. Ahí, escucha.
Pero abuela, no te entiendo.
Tú estás ahí, pendejo.
¿Pero por qué tú me llamas pendejo, abuela?
Vente a la choza hoy, pendejo.
Tú me tienes los huevos hinchados, abuela.
Hay una jodera ahí que te van a traer con un té de sangre.
Te voy a dar un pingazo, vieja.
Y te quieren ver.
¡Puta! Está empezando otra vez.